AM 560. The Answer.
I have watched 4,000 Ro Khanna clips since the information broke about his insider trading profits of $170 million. I have not seen one, and I'm including Maria, who I love to death, the money bunny. Not one question about Ro Khanna's incredible knack for constantly making money through insider trading. But when you understand when he's defending the fraud in USAID, whew, that means the money is real big. And why would he go after Elon Musk? Simple. He came out and told everybody.
Well, there's just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is, I think, one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world, is government-funded non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO, and then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars, to NGOs that are essentially scams.
It's interesting because during that clip where we would always make fun of that unattractive Flintstone-looking woman, Penny Pritzker, and she would talk, they would expose that she forgot to put $134 million on her income. You remember this story, Squirrel. And I used to say, what was she doing? And consulting. Does that mean you were consulting one of the 64 NGOs that have been linked to the Pritzker family?
Megan, what will likely generate more of the questions, the heat, her management or her finances?
Betty, that's hard to say. Both are going to be huge. You've got this new IG report out on her banking past. You've got new financial disclosures that, as you mentioned, we got just last night. So let's start with the income piece of this. Forms released just last night showing that she underestimated her income by $80 million. Now, that's consulting money. A spokeswoman explained it as a clerical error. And as we reported previously, the nominee is worth more than $1.5 billion. If confirmed, she'd be among the wealthiest cabinet officials in history. Her offshore accounts will also be fair game, as we've discussed. Pritzker disclosed last week she earned $54 million in consulting fees in the Bahamas. And, Betty, the fact that the president attacked his opponent, Mitt Romney, during the campaign for his offshore accounts, that's likely going to be brought up today. You can bet on that. Betty?
And what about that?
Not a word. Not a word. And the reason is the Democrats, they pose accusations of their own practice. This is Chris Murphy. You remember Chris Murphy, Squirrel. He's the one with that 1960s comb-over that looks ridiculous. Looked ridiculous in the 60s. Looks even dumber now. He's going to stick with it. After all the Democrats are repulsive-looking, he blends right in.
As we are currently debating an Iran deal that basically exists on Iran's terms, why was there a flood of money from Iranian regime-backed entities into the Trump crypto companies? Why were they putting that investment in? What did they expect?
How do you know that? How do you know that, but you don't know about the $6.5 billion stolen by 450s? You didn't know about the $18 billion stolen by Minnesota Somalians, but you know that? This is the beauty of it, Squirrel. Because all they have to do is pretend to be virtuous, and not one Democrat cares because they don't pay taxes. Not one Democrat, not rich or poor, they do not pay taxes. And the reason they have all these funds and societies and foundations and the Pritzkers and the NGOs is because they launder policy money. They don't have any actual income. It's all just revenue. That if they get caught, they simply forgot to put it on their income tax. I forgot! $134 million, Nancy! I told you to put it on there. Now we're going to be in real trouble. I may have to go to work.
And her management of the bank.
So we're talking about Superior Bank. It's outside of Chicago. So in addition to developing a skyscraper, starting a luxury senior housing enterprise, chairing a credit reporting company, and leading record campaign fundraising, the Hyatt Hotel heiress also led a bank for a few years, and that bank eventually failed, and it failed big. So here's what we know, Betty. Pritzker ran Superior from 1991 to 1994. She and her family expanded subprime lending there, got involved in the kind kind of mortgage-backed securitization that eventually sparked the recession. So the bank failed in July 2001 when Pritzker was still on the board, though not in charge at the time. And at the time, Betty, it was one of the biggest bank failures in a decade. So back in 2008, Pritzker said it failed because regulators said the bank's financial statements overvalued its assets. Lawsuits also accused the Pritzkers of taking dividends based on that overvaluation. This is all explored in more than 60 pages.
They took dividends based on the overvaluation, but they had a company, a government entity that was giving oversight. And then she became the Commerce Secretary. That's like the fox put in charge of the hen house. And that's what Democrat areas are. And that's why you don't hear one reporter in a Democrat area ever ask a financial question from the thieves themselves, starting from the lowly, unattractive Pritzker family all the way to the insider trader Ro Khanna. Jordan, Antioch.
Hey, afternoon, Sean. I just jumped in the truck to go home, and I heard you talk about NGOs and then Pritzker. Are we talking about our illustrious governor announcing during his budget that he's increasing the amount of money that he's going to put into NGOs in Illinois? Are we talking about that? Or
see, now, Jordan, you just got in the truck because you were working your ass off like an honest guy. You're going to go home now. You're going to worry about things. And in the meantime, all of the people who vote for these thieves, they could care less because they're not doing what you're doing today. None of them. None of these welfare roaches that Brandon Johnson is talking about more money for gun violence and scum control. Not a one of them cares, which is why only the decent people are offended, Jordan, which is why I got to get your ass down here because we respect people here. There are law enforced down here. In Democrat areas, Jordan, he'll get reelected and he'll walk away. If Bailey could drop out and Pritzker's going to win again because they want to be in on the stealing. That's the thing you have to understand.
Brother, I know.
Democrats want to be in on it. That's why they all vote for these thieves. Thank you, babe. You have a good day. You go home and soak your feet. One guy, all of our listeners work. All the welfare roaches with the Louis Vuitton purse, they get their rent paid by the government. 312-642-5600.
This is the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.